Hello, all my chickadees, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be trying out another demo that was submitted to the Yandere Jam, and this one is Sacrarium Pario. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it looks really interesting and up my alley. And I'm probably gonna have to do this in more than one part because I don't have time to record much today. But we're gonna go ahead. Oh, look, it's like a. Oh, that looks like a flower? Our little mouse? Is that a flower? Ooh, I like it. Okay. Content warnings. Pay attention, guys. Oh my gosh, I can't read all this, but you guys could look at the trigger warnings if any of that is something that will trigger you or you are not happy, you're not comfortable with. Please click away. I do not want any of my chickadees having a bad day or being triggered by something, okay? I want to make sure everybody is safe. But the content warnings are gore, human taxidermy, human vivisection and dissection, flesh abominations, body horror, death, unhealthy power dynamics, dubious context, and Stockholm Syndrome. And there is all the trigger warnings. Take a moment to look it over. Pause if you have to. I just want to make sure everybody is checking it out. I don't want anyone being hurt. Okay. By continuing forward, you acknowledge that you are alright with seeing the previous mentioned content and acknowledge that the team is not responsible for your self-moderation or content consumption. Alright. What is your first name? Sparrow. Oh, we can do first and last names. We'll do this backwards and say Phil. My pronouns are he, him. Waking up on a ship was nothing new. But this was the first time I did it in chains. Ooh. Sluggish thoughts swam through my aching skull. My fumbling motions revealed chains binding my wrists and legs to the floor. They were heavy, and the manacles were tight enough that I worried about blood flow. Hazy memories resurfaced piece by piece. Each new recollection sent a dagger of betrayal straight through my heart. Okay, yeah, from what I did gather, we were a mercenary, and now we were murked. we were captured, not murked, sorry. Let me turn the audio up a little bit because there is background stuff you guys might like. Okay. Not again. I attempted to sit up and fell back against the crates with a groan. My head felt like it was splitting in two, and past experiences told me I had at least 2 cracked-lit ribs. A nasty bruise chafed under the tight manacles. Blood poured down my forehead and dried on my chin and throat. I remembered the bruise and the cut to my head. We were banged up pretty good, weren't we? The enemy found my location sooner than I expected and forced a melee confrontation. We still won that fight. Zhao. The name fell out of my lips like a curse rather than a plea. He left quite a big knot on the back of my head. It took me 5 years to get comfortable with him, to gain the confidence to trust him with my back. Oh god, it took us... He was playing the long game of stabbing us in the back, wasn't he? But 5 years? And this was my repayment, a ticket to a fate worse than death, if the chains belonged to who I thought they did. Familiar runes were crudely carved into the chain links. Drain runes. Bled magic users dry, and were necessary if you wanted to traffic humans. I'd shattered more than a few of these in my career. In a way, it was no surprise I ended up in some myself. So it's like pulling out any of the magic potential we have. Oh, that sucks. One doesn't make an enemy of the tourmaline ring and walk away unscathed. This was inevitable. They'd better have paid you well for this, Zhao. Hope it's enough to keep me from finding you. The anger festering within me gave me the strength to finally sit up. The cargo hold was tight. blood-stained, but not smelly. I had to be the only living cargo down here, which was bad. These ships never had only one piece of cargo, so they were in an even worse place if they weren't with me. Upon examination, the runes on the chains were cheap and outdated. Reaching within myself to gather mana revealed I had a tiny amount still within me. We're magic users! Yay! I could also partially open my third eye. We have a third eye? Third eye, like, probably, I don't know if physically a third eye, or it might just be the third eye in sense of, opening your mind. I know I've heard both versions. I don't know. We'll find out. Opening my third eye sharpened my senses and alerted me to the fact there were other people down here. The clattering of coins and the cheery conversation indicated that they were crew, not captives. Sometimes I wish I was able to completely open my third eye. This was one of those cases. I couldn't reach far enough with a partial opening. Instinctively, I looked up and around me. Elementals hung in the air. Small, brain-dead water droplets lazed around, carried around by young, rambunctious air elementals. Air elementals were difficult to control on ships. They're easily distracted by the water and salt. Can we see what they look like? Thus, they spread themselves too thin and became near brain-dead. The bored little things latched onto my call in a near frenzy of excitement. I gathered the little energy I had left in me and offered it to them. Let me hear them. It took a bit of pushing and insistence to guide them the right way. Soon, those unintelligible voices became clearer. My vision became overwhelmed by what the elementals were showing me. 4 people around a tiny table, drinking and playing cards. They were all slurring the Tragu with a variety of different accents one could find in the Sacrarium. What do you think we'll get for him? Probably not much. Mandolins sell well, though. Even if we cut them into tiny strips, all kinds of freaks will want them. But aren't most of our clients Indian at this point? They hate magic. Okay, there's a lot of terms we don't know yet, but I'm sure it'll be explained as we go. We are just diving into this world. We wouldn't be selling this cargo to them. It'd be a waste. I'm betting that the captain wants to sell them off to one of those masked folks in the halls. The foreigners? Other countries pay well for parts. And a mind-wiped bodyguard always sells well, especially if you leave its training. The group laughed a bit. But for real, I don't know why the cap handed over so much coin for this one. Do you really not know who that is? The muscular man nodded and looked confused. He's here to hit things, not remember them. She patted his arm. That's Fael, the Fael, top of the bounty board in the ring, 8 years in a row. I saw the man's jaw drop. So yeah, we don't gotta treat him with like any other cargo. There are people dying to get their hands on him. Yeah, we a high-tier bounty hunter, you know. Wonder if Captain's gonna do a torture rental. The hard part is making sure everyone gets a turn then. Wait, you guys... Torture renter, as in paying somebody so they can torture us for a little bit? Okay, I'm sure we have a lot of a lot of enemies if we've been getting in the game for 8 years, but come on. No. Fael has more than a few people who want him dead after all. We're gonna make so much money. The glee in all their faces made me sick. We might make enough that we don't have to keep snagging rats. I clenched my fist and bit back a growl. A rat meant a child. Children were popular merchandise since they were easier to abuse into compliance. That's horrible. If I can get up. I tried to stand, but I couldn't. People like this were scum and definitely had special places saved for them in the hells. My breath came out in embarrassing painted pants due to my minimal exertion. Unable to move, I focused back on what the elemental showed me. Do we really gotta cut through That place. He lowered his voice to a near whisper. A shiver ran down my spine. There's only one area locals called that place and refuse to speak of. I know it's scary, but we'll be fine. The paths we used haven't had problems this month. Keep your head on a swivel at all times. Get compliant in that place and you'll get eaten by one of that thing's toys. The big man shivered and rubbed his hands up and down his arms. I'm not even worried about the toys. I'm worried about the ghost ships. Ghost ships? The other three laughed at him. Yeah. The miraculous ghost ships, where only the crew disappear while their cargo returns to shore. She hit the big man's shoulder. Don't be daft. There's only the tales our cargo tells among themselves to feel better. I've seen one, though. A ring ship with no crew. Only shell-shocked cargo. And how old were you when you saw this? 7, but it was probably a cargo mutiny due to a bad crew. It happens. Some people can't maintain control. Not every crew has cap around to maintain our superior level of professionalism. The muscular man shook his head. I still don't like it. What, you scared that the creator and the creation will pop out of the sea? Whisk you away? The other three laugh again. Shh. Don't say their titles like that. It's bad luck. You really are young. Yeah, they are superstitious, it seems, about some things. Like, it could also be something that actually happens. I mean, I know, like, back in the olden days, like, pirates would be superstitious about certain areas, and, like, they would find ships with no crew, and they would think that sirens called them into the ocean, and things like that. So, yeah, I'm kind of getting vibes like that, like, sirens calling things into the ocean. Maybe that's why they're thinking that, but they're like, the cargo might have fought back, aka, the people fought back with the ones in charge, the crew. Greenbloods like you always get so worried about the false idols on Pario. Remember to pay your respects to the true gods and you'll be fine. Don't say that name either. Too many ghost ships, too many rotting monsters on the beaches. I don't want to die because you don't know how to be respectful. Respectful of what? 2 assholes cursed by the divine? The bald woman got a vicious grin. Oh, don't tell me their names are forbidden too. Don't you dare. Saying that while we're in this place is asking to die. Oh no, whatever will I do when Violo and Vivir appear? The bald woman and her friends laughed. The muscular man slammed his palms down on the table. Now you've done it. He looked frantic. Calm down, lad. We've said their names plenty of times. Never a bad thing happened. Okay, so those 2 people are on this apparent island they're passing by called Pario. And apparently monsters appear there and everything. The muscular man shook his head and got up. Where you going? We just started the round. To pray for us. He was already making the hand motions for a prayer to the goddess of mercy while walking away. The rest of his table mates laughed and jeered at him before continuing their game. Enough. The view closed and I gritted my teeth. Deep in the center of the Sacrarium Sea rested an island surrounded for miles by blood-red waters. Those waters, the blood waters, were the prison that contained the deadliest living gods. This immortal pair haunted the dreams of children and sailors alike. The creator, he who destroyed divine law with his twisted creation. The creation, something built to mimic humans in an ungodly way. The pair sank hundreds of ships every year. When the creations die, they left acidic corpse on our beaches. Any sane sailor turned back the moment the water even started to look slightly pink. Only fools like those in the ring dared to actually cut through it to avoid civil guard patrols. I wouldn't need to worry about my fate once we docked. I needed to pray we dock it all. It was madness, and I was being dragged into it with them. For a moment, despair welled up in me. Betrayal was nothing new. It was a familiar song and dance. I'd got myself out of similar straits, but this had to be the most hopeless one yet. Trapped on a ship with armed traffickers while riding through the most cursed area in all the seas. It's a death sentence. Okay, if this area is so bad, why the living heck is the captain letting us go through them? We should, you should avoid the red waters, but, I mean, we're already in a pretty bad spot, so maybe we can hope that the crew gets attacked and we can escape, because it did say the crew would be missing and the cargo would be fine, aka we're the cargo. Unless I could turn it around. I have not lived this long to die now. I felt around my soul and body, seeing what kind of magic reserves I had left. It was very little. The previous battle had drained most of my energy. Like before, reaching and gathering my power felt like physical agony. Only my years of training kept me from falling to one knee. I didn't need anything flashy. I only needed enough power to rip the nails out of the floor. I wrapped the chains around my arms until they became taut. My muscles and bones protesting my pulling, but I powered through the pain. It took all my focused time to bursting my energy with the momentum of the pull. I succeeded. The action had me falling back against the wall. Black spots danced along the edge of my vision, and my legs shook. I tried to focus on making sure no one heard me. The ringing in my ears drowned out everything else. Yeah, we must have... using up the last bit of our, power must have really, done a number on us. Steady. Steady. Each slow breath hurt like hell. Still, I persisted in the motion, careful not to breathe too deep. My ribs would resent the extra damage otherwise. While I gathered the strength to move, I collected my wits. I was stuck out at sea on a ship with traffickers who wanted me dead or gone. That traitor had stripped me of my weapons, and I had no allies for miles. Then again, I doubted I had allies at all. Relationships that didn't end in treachery were rare in my line of work. Not that it mattered. I had no way of reaching help at all. To make matters worse, we were heading into the blood waters. What could I do? Ah, we finally get a choice. Okay, we're saving. Whew. Okay. Hope you guys are hanging in there. I need to fight my way out or die trying. I need to sneak my way out or die trying. I need to give up. It was hopeless. Okay, we're not doing the last one. No. I think we need to sneak. Because we're already kind of weak and we don't have our weapons. So we need to sneak. I tried to remember click the wrong thing. I tried to remember anything I saw before going unconscious. If my memory was correct, there was an emergency boat on the side. My body was weak, but I wasn't dead yet. Reaching into myself, I determined I had enough power left to make the boat land in the waters quietly. I only needed to get one unseen. The hard part would be getting around their guards. With other cargo spread around, they'd be on high alert. Honestly, they'd probably be more on alert because I was on board. I observed the lanterns and candles, debating messing with them. No, that'd be too noticeable. Yeah, don't mess with them. Don't, because if you draw their attention to anything, they're going to be on alert. We don't want that. We want them to be nice and comfy, so they're not worrying about anything. If anything, it'd lure them in. I could use it as an ambush if needed. With a pained groan, I hauled myself up. There was work to do. If I managed to escape, it'd be quite the boast to add to my sales pitch. I didn't have time to react when the ship lurched. My poor balance sent me rolling across the floor. Only instinct had me bracing my feet against the column to keep from rolling anymore. The sprain in my left ankle screeched at the impact, but I didn't have time to wonder if I'd broken it. Another lurch came from the other side of the ship. I flung my long wrist chains around the column and used them to hold on. Chaos reigned above me. Frantic screams and shouting echoing down the stairs. The sounds of metal clinging against something unnatural rung out. Oh, they in the blood waters. They having issues? The lurching stopped, but the fighting continued. I managed to pull myself behind a small gathering of cargo crates by the time the members of the crew ran downstairs. Fuck. Oh, goddess of mercy, grant me freedom from this torment. Oh, gods of secret, grant me your blessing to hide. People babbled and shouted at one another. I see. All you guys that were being all cool, you're now worried. I wonder why. No one even noticed I wasn't where I was supposed to be. I don't think you're top of the list of the priorities right now. We're doomed. The sound of something heavy trotting down the stairs had new screams of terror rising up. A sympathies of broken bones and thudding bodies took over. Unnatural, disturbing grunts and groans echoed from the beast mauling them. Can you guys hear that? Or do I need to turn it up a bit more? Because, wow. That was a laugh. The gleeful laughter echoed above it all. Above it all had me frozen in place. The voice was low and had a slight rasp. There was a sadistic, playful quality to it. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17? 17 people left. The screaming began to die down into pained sobs. I didn't dare move from my spot. The man began to hum. The cheerful melody felt out of place with the backing chorus of people pleading for their lives. Let's see. Male. No diseases of note. No injuries of note. Emaciated form. Poor bone density. Not fightable. I heard the sound of a blade ripping through flesh, cutting off terrified scream. Oh, man. Oh, this is probably the guy. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'm leaning a little bit there, guys. Let me fix that. I was... I didn't mean to. I was so into it. I was like, wee! Okay, this has to be, the creator they were talking about. One of the two, like, living gods on the island. Because the creator, creates all these monsters and stuff. So, and he got on here, apparently killed the crew, or a lot of them, and now he's looking at all the rest of the cargo going, can I use this for experiments? Female. Unique blood condition. I recognize the type, but research is lacking. Viable. The sob increasing into panic screams. Something called the woman away. Male. Unimpressive physique. Decent health and bone density. Muscular could be used for ligament experiments. Viable. Please. No. Oh, that was the man with the eye patch. He's an experiment now. The man's cries cut out as he was also pulled away. Please, the woman pleaded. Begging is pointless, silly scum. Oh my gosh, that laugh. It's not like you've spared anyone in your life. What is it like? Do you enjoy being powerless? Is it fun? Does it make you think of your sins? Come now, tell me. I asked a question. The playful tone turned into something more dangerous. The man tapped his foot. Female, nothing impressive, less than average health, beyond stupid, not viable. Well, the bald woman just got killed. I heard the sound of something slamming against the floor. The sound of a skull caving in cut off her pained cry. Finally, intersex? Fascinating. Sadly, I finished that research some time ago. Unique bone disease. This is new. Fascinating. How can you just look at somebody and know? Is this why he's called, like, a living god? Does he really have the powers of this? That he can just look at somebody and be like, oh, yes, you have good bone structure. You have this disease. That's, like, really interesting. He clapped his hands with glee.
Fantastic!
What a wonderful find! You'll make for a wonderful case study. Viable. This one didn't even put up a fight as the beast hauled him away. I kept my hands clasped over my mouth. No one was around. He missed me. If he doesn't sink the ship, I could get away. I could also try and sneak out of one of the emergency boats. The man was humming while moving through the cargo hold. I tensed when he passed right by me, holding my breath. To my horror, he looked right at me. Look at him! Okay, he's cute. That was worth the wait. That was worth the 25-minute wait to see a sprite. He cute. He cute. He does look psycho. His eyes were foggy and unfocused. Messy dark brown hair framed a delicate face and wide blind eyes. Oh, so he's not actually using his eyes to see. He's got other powers. Freckles covered tan skin. Unique gold-filled scars sprawled along his chest. He'd almost look like a mischievous angel if not for the blood splattered on his face. He scanned the area, and I could feel magical energy radiating off him. I felt like I was standing next to a white-hot flame. I pulled my own third eye shut to avoid his energy and hoped he wouldn't notice the remnants of my presence. My chest burned from holding my breath, but I didn't dare release it. This wasn't the first time I've fought a blind magic user. They tended to be prodigies due to their mind being able to process magic better. After all, the brain didn't need to produce or process visual feedback from magic. Instead, that extra focus went straight into their natural abilities. My limited abilities allowed me sharper senses and a keen awareness of danger. A completely open third was something for prodigies alone. His third eye will see me. Shit. Frustrated tears mingled with the sweat and blood on my face. I waited for him to address me, wondering if I wanted to torment me on if he wanted to torment me on purpose. Even though his third eye passed over me, he turned away. I let out a surprised gasp and cringed. He didn't turn back. Did he really miss us? He was able to see into all the other people and he totally missed us? Is it because our energy is pretty much depleted? I blinked a few times. My jagged breath came out as a particularly loud wheeze. We escaped and yet we're here making all this noise. A gasp, a wheeze. No reaction at all. The realization hit me like a hammer. Blind and deaf. Holy crap. I breathed quietly all the same. I couldn't bear to open my senses to check on the elementals. Even with my third eye closed, he was a beacon of power that pained me to be even near. The realization that escape was possible had me shifting. I gathered my chains to pick them up off the floor. I then slid my feet instead of walking to avoid noticeable vibration. Clever. Clever. Hello, I need to make sure no one is unconscious down there. Hello? Oh god. Oh god. Give me a sec. I need to make sure no one is unconscious down there. Dude, you saying hello to someone who is unconscious, they won't be able to answer, buddy. I'm sorry. If you're here, you need to tell me. I'll put you with the others in a more comfortable spot. He meandered through the cargo hold, humming the entire way. His humming grew fainter, and I took the chance to make my escape. I navigated the rocking of the ship until a sharp lurch sent me slamming into a column. I feel like this is a horror game, you know, where there's like a grunt or somebody that you need to like avoid. We're trying not to make vibrations so this deaf blind guy won't notice us. But we are very bad. The motion caused my head to hit a lantern, and I dropped my chains to catch myself. With terrifying speed, the man was in my area again, head scanning the area. This time there was an air of focus about him. The passive scan earlier was nothing compared to his intensity now. He's like, my spidey senses are tingling. There's somebody in this area. I can't pinpoint them. But they're here. He reached out his hands while moving. I froze in place, debating what to do. Was it the chains hitting the floor that lured him? Was it me hitting the column and lantern? His nose twitched with a sniff. Different blood. He let out a curious hum while moving around. He was going to find me. I needed to do something. Okay. Beg him to release me, stay quiet, try to fight him off. Okay, the beg him to release me is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Try to fight him off. We're having a problem getting near him. I think we should stay quiet because he's having a hard time locating us anyway. If I was very, very careful, I can dodge him. It was a long shot, but it was all I had. He explored at a casual pace. He overtook an entire crew armed to the teeth with weapons, magical potions, and magic users. He had the power to be casual. I stayed still and waited for the inevitable. He actually passed me at first, but when he took a step back to turn around, he stepped into me. The surprised little squeak would have been cute on anyone else. Here it felt twisted and wrong. He whirled around in an instant, hand flying towards me. One of the hands tangled into my bandolier, standing it with blood. He tugged me towards him, eyes wide.
What?
He's so confused. A person? He blinked a few times in surprise. The hand not holding onto me reached up and brushed against my face. He felt under my nose, across my lips, around my throat. A living person? He's so confused. Are you mindless? I can't see you or hear you. He cuffed my face with a look of wonder on his features. I shook my head.
Truly an intriguing situation.
Oh, I hope you guys could hear that. That was cool. An answer? Not mindless, only impossible to see. I felt magic push into me and then winced. Magic entering your soul felt more evasive compared to your magic pressed against your physical form. It's like pouring water into a pit. I can't sense a limit. The sensation pulled back and a maniac grin split across his face. You are fascinating. I never would have thought to find such a treasure on one of these ships. Delighted laughter made my hackles rise. His hands dropped down and snagged my chains. Maybe luck likes me more than he says he does. It's been so long since we had a guest with such unique value. You are what I've been waiting for. His pleased smile became more deranged. You have to come with me. His magic exploded in my mind. It overstimulated my senses until I cracked. I sank deep into the void, only the man's delighted whisper breaking through. We're going to have so much fun together. I floated in the darkness for unknown amounts of time, sinking further into the past. Soon, the unintelligible whispers turned into recognizable voices and sounds. Pain grew and grew in contrast to my body, which only felt smaller and smaller. The dark shadows began to form familiar colors and sensations. My body ached, and my limp arm hung at one side. I laid on the dirt ground of the barn, broken ladder beside me. All I could do was stare up at the hideout Jabari and I had made together. Okay, it was a flashback. He's unconscious, but he's kind of getting, like, remembering whenever, like, something that happened. Apparently he fell off of a ladder in a barn. The perfect place to escape our parents, and the only safe place during the bandit raid. My young mind was crying and scared, wondering why my best friend had kicked the ladder down. My vague adult awareness recognized the desperate self-preservation. He'd left me as sobbing, injured bait. I could do nothing but lay in a pained daze, pleading with the gods to save me. The bandits hadn't entered the barn. The silver guard had arrived faster than expected. The pain in my heart only grew even after my rescue. I could never find it myself to forgive him. That small wound tore into the gaping hole when the silver guards recovered my parents' corpse. Everyone in the village had looked at me with hollow pity then. A broken arm meant I could do no work, and now I had no parents to look after me. Like my friend, they kicked me to the side. Oh no. Poor guy. He wasn't able to work, and he lost his parents, so they're like, hey, you're worthless, and not even bothering to take care of this kid who just got orphaned because of a raid. I don't want to see this. The pains of my past began to bleed into each other again. Each time I extended a shaky, terrified hand, daring to trust, a new wound gouged itself into my heart. Blind faith and hope for goodness sharped into cynic. Sorry, guys. Brain fart. Cynicism. I can't say that word at the moment, so there it is. Over the years. The wounds of the past tightened around my throat. My despair straddled me almost like a lover, tempting me to stop breathing to avoid the pain. I shook my head, thrashing and fighting back. Oh, this is a nice room. Look at the grass growing out of the floor and the flowers. It's cute. With my first agonizing gasp, my eyes flew open. The ceiling above me looked rather plain. Chipped embossings were overrun with vines. I traced my eyes along them while steadying my breathing. The room was dim and humid. My body felt heavy, bloated, and uncomfortable. Someone healed me magically then. Magic healing was always expensive, and unlike most people, I tended to have a severe reaction to it. Thus, I try not to get healed that way if I could avoid it. My hands ran across my body. I noticed the thin manacles on my wrist. They were lighter than the one from the ship, and dainty-looking chains connected them. I reached inwardly for my magic, but found nothing. No energy at all. I ran a thumb across the chain and groaned upon realizing I recognized the runes on them. The ones on the ship had been a cheap knockoff. These were airtight and denying me my magic. Yeah, these people, they had the expensive stuff. The groan forced me to take a deep breath, and I coughed on dust and the overwhelming smell of lye. Someone had washed the sheets recently, but this place still needed a good dusting. I sat up to look around. Something fluttered on the edge of my periphery. My head snapped over in the direction of the motion, and I braced myself for impact. Don't you dare scream. Oh, hello! Hello, buddy. You look fun. Ooh. A tall figure sat near my bed. It was a man, but not the one from the ship. That man had been slim, almost tiny. This one was a mountain of muscle barely contained in haphazardly tied robes. Long hair poured over his shoulder, ending in colorful tips. Unnatural golden eyes set in a sea of black, glaring at a dagger. Painful-looking seams broke up mottled gray skin. He looked like a monster you'd run away from. The sharp blade he played with didn't help the image. He stood to loom over me. Yeah, he does look like a doll. Like one of those ball-jointed dolls. Because, like, right here and here, all this. So he looks like a porcelain doll. He moved with regal grace, reminding me of a lion ready to pounce. Okay, I yelled and dove away. I stayed quiet. I greeted him. We're not gonna do that one, because we can't go nowhere. Stayed quiet or greet him. I stared at the man, weighing my options. The chains on my wrists indicated I was a prisoner of some sort. Yet I sat in a fresh room instead of a cold floor of a dungeon. Something was up. I took a breath and swallowed a few times to make my throat less dry before speaking. Hello? Good afternoon? I squinted at the window, realizing it wasn't sundown. The sky was a deep red color. A soft, surprised noise caught my attention. I looked back at the large man, who blinked a few times. His impassive face was almost slack with shock. Morning? I cannot tell what time it is. So he's like surprised that we're actually greeting him. We like wake up chained up and everything, and we're like, morning, how are you? Okay, this actually ran on longer than I can actually do today. So I gotta go. I'm sorry to leave it here, but we got some interesting boys. Look at this. I am so curious. Maybe we start off with a good foot with him, being nice. Okay, let me know what you thought down below. I'm interested in seeing where this goes. I know that this is still a demo, but there's a lot to it from what I gather, and it's gonna be interesting. And I will see you guys the next time. Behave, all my chickadees. Bye.